On this week's episode of One Stage at a Time, we tear through and discuss the level And Hell Follows from the original Doom. Then we talk the most recent Nintendo Direct and all the stunning bombshell announcements within. And we dip our toe in a little bit of comic book TV news by discussing the trailer for Invincible. All this and more in an untouchable episode of One Stage at a Time. Welcome to One Stage at a Time, the podcast where we're playing through video games every single level, not skipping a single level. I'm Aaron Neeson, and I'm joined by Andy Prim. Hello, Andy.
How's it going, Aaron? You know, I was thinking that if we were, on this podcast, if we were the cast of Tropic Thunder, I think I would be the nerdy guy, that Canadian guy, Jay Baruchel. That would be me.
Okay.
You would be Ben Stiller, and then Sam would be Lincoln Osiris.
Oh,
which one was Lincoln Osiris? Was he Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah, the dude dressed like another dude, pretending he's a different dude.
Speaking of, over there, incognito in disguise is Sam Ingersoll. Hello, Sam.
Hello, everybody.
And
I'm
gentlemen,
apparently as cool as Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, but also a little racist.
Yeah, a little racist.
Yeah,
we know that. Let's talk about Doom.
Hell yeah. Well, like Aaron said, we're playing E4M7 and Hell Followed, and this is the 7th map of the 4th episode of the original Doom. And that means we're very close to the end. The 4th episode was added later, so this is sort of apocryphal anyway, but
it's the second end of the game that we're getting to.
Exactly. It's the more ending than ending of the game. We're on mission 7. There's 8 total, so we'll be playing the final episode next week. So you can look forward to that. But today we're playing the penultimate episode, And Hell Followed. As usual, in episode 4, all the level titles come from verses from the Bible. This particular one comes from Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
That's fucking sick, man. Yeah.
Fucking metal, isn't it?
That's awesome. I love that.
I love that shit, dude.
That's a pretty well-known quote. You've hear that pale horse death bit a lot. You don't really hear the hell followed part that much, though.
That's true. Yeah. It's like, it's cool. I don't know, like how thematically it fits with the level we're going to talk about, but it's a really tight quote. And I got a little trivia question for you, Aaron. Get ready for this.
Oh boy.
Who are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
Let's see. We're talking death, war, pestilence, and famine.
D'Artagnan.
Incorrect. Damn. Incorrect. Oh,
damn. Oh wait, no. Let me guess again.
Google says guessing.
Oh, you sound really foolish right now.
No, it's war, it's pestilence, it's pornography, and it's
Instagram,
and it's video games. It's video games, of course.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah, I knew
right.
It.
No, the first time you were kind of right, but pestilence isn't in the original Bible. It's a guy who's referred to as conquest. It's his description is he came conquering and to conquer, and so he's called conquest. But then later, like other classical sources, change that so it's pestilence instead. So then usually today, when you see him in like a video game or in a movie, it's pestilence. But originally in Revelation, it's conquest.
I mean, that makes sense. Conquest and war is kind of like double dipping a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if they changed it around like the like Holy Wars and the what they call it, my brain stopped working.
Crusades?
Yeah. Like,
but yeah, I love that. Like the get rid of if that's the case, it'd be like get rid of conquest. That's a little iffy. War can stay though.
Oh yeah, maybe it was a deal where like conquest, like war went to Lucifer and was like, "Oh, Lucifer, conquest is stealing my bit. I'm war. There can't be 2 wars."
I picked war first.
Lucifer was like, "Fine, he's pestilence now. Get out of my office."
I love that he's British now. He's like, fine, very well, very well.
Yeah.
And
Dude.
I love how Satan doesn't have like a set persona for us. Sometimes he's, my God, it's so messy in here. Who spilled the coffee on the floor? And other times he's sitting at his desk.
Well, I feel like, you know, the first one is more of our Doom guy voice, but like the second one is like, I picture that as like Lucifer from the Sandman comics, just like super effete and androgynous, like just beautiful blonde curly hair, alabaster skin. That's Lucifer in my mind.
What if he's the 7-headed beast and he's got all these different personalities? Occasionally, just one different one's talking right there.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, he is the father of lies. He could take many forms.
That's Satan guy. He's tricky. He's full of tricks.
Let's talk about this episode. Let me hit you with some quick stats here, fellas. So, And Hell Followed, the 7th map of Thy Flesh Consumed, was designed by a certain someone named John W. Anderson, aka Doctor Sleep. And we can get into who this fellow was in just a little while. The music track is called Sinister by your friend and mine, Bobby Prince. Par time here is 2:15. We've got 4 secrets. And in terms of enemies, we've got 28 sergeants, 6 demons, 3 specters, 6 troopers, 7 lost souls, 6 caco demons, 3 barons of hell, 44 imps, and a single cyber demon. So there you go. We've got a slew, a bevy of enemies to confront in this stage.
Where was the cyber demon?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw the cyber demon.
Sam, did you see the cyber demon?
I did, but only. We'll get into it, but yes, I did see this. I found the cyber demon.
Okay.
He's a hidden cyber demon?
There's a hidden cyber demon.
It's a sneaky cyber demon?
Yeah, he's so sneaky. I
So
think
very sneaky stuff.
you're underestimating the sneakiness.
I can't believe there was a cyber demon in this level and I didn't see it. What the fuck?
Yeah, we'll show you a video of it and you'll
blowing my mind.
Blow your mind.
Yeah.
I had to cheat, but I didn't realize it. I had to watch. I couldn't figure out how to end the level, so I had to watch the video. But it turned out that I didn't need to watch the video. There was just I clicked in a weird way and couldn't open the red gate at the end. And we'll talk about it. I was clicking on it, but it wasn't working, and so I started watching the video, and that's how I found the cyber demon. And I had the key to get through it the whole time, but I don't know what happened. Like I just clicked on it funny and it didn't go through. So that's like the only reason why I found the cyber demon. It was
like you were stuck in one of those old point and click adventure games where you know what the solution is, but it won't let you click on the pixel you need to.
More games. There was a game that came out a little while way back when. It was Frankenstein Through the Eyes of the Monster. It was a point and click game with Tim Curry as Dr. Frankenstein, but it had a nice thing where you had a little hand with a finger pointing straight up that we could click on stuff, but when you could interact, it would open and close the hand. So you didn't have to click, you could just kind of hover and see, and more games need something like that. Yeah, but I don't know what went wrong, but that's the only reason why I found the cyber demon is because I had to watch the video to see, because I thought I needed it to finish the level, but I didn't.
Well,
clearly not. I didn't find him.
Yeah, Aaron didn't find him at all. So at least you halfway found him.
Mm-hmm.
But we can thank Big Mac Davis, who is the god of doom. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. He showed us all the ropes on this one. I played this level once before just for funsies, and I had no sign of a cyber demon, but he's only on ultraviolence anyway. So if you're playing on Herbie Plenary Below, you won't even see him. But this time I found him. But thanks to Big Mac Davis also. I watched his video before I played the level this time. So I went in with perfect knowledge of what to do. But what'd you guys think of this stage? Kind of an interesting one, I thought. I kind of like went in thinking it was kind of lame, but by the end, I guess I came around a little bit on it. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
It definitely leaned more towards the enjoyable side of the spectrum. Even when I realized that the only issue was one of my own. There is a part, I can't remember I think, have all the bullshit secrets only been in episode 4?
Yes.
Because I watching the video, I saw that there was another bullshit secret.
Yes.
There's one you can't get, Aaron, without actually cheating. Like
you got to do no
clipping your game. Which it confused the hell out of me when we get to it, I'll explain why. But I liked it really. It was pretty fun level. It had lots of kind of little fun things where like a dark spooky hole, or like the first I went down the first hallway and hit the first switch and got surprised by enemies. It kind of felt a little old school where like all the enemies were just behind a door somewhere and like a little hole in the wall.
Yeah, it kind of like episode 1 in that way, just like very solid geometry. Like there's no like teleporting surprises.
Little things like, oh, here's a window that shows you where a key's at. It felt very much more like the first episode, like maybe like a fan of episode 1 made a level, kind of felt like that a little bit.
Well, this guy, Dr. Sleep, was a fan of episode 1. So this guy was a member of the Doom community. After the original Doom came out, he was a big fan. He made some WADs. You guys know what a WAD is, don't you?
I don't know what it stands for.
But Sam doesn't, so you might want to tell him.
I don't remember what it stands for, but it's like a fan level, right?
Yeah, exactly. WAD stands for Where's All the Data? And the Carmack programmed Doom in such a way that it was like that fans could go in and edit it and make their own levels. And they did this using these WAD files, which stands for Where's All the Data. So they would go in and like edit the WAD file. And that's the extent of my understanding. There's like a lot of more technical stuff to it, what's going on with how it replaces the code. But Dr. Sleep, he came up with some WADs and then he just shot them all over our faces.
He blew his WAD.
You might say that.
and I loved it. I really enjoyed this level.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
I gotta say, yeah, I had a blast. It did feel like the first 3 episodes. Like it felt like we were back into like an actual level that was specifically dying to be part of the narrative and part of Doom. And I thought the level design was really cool. I love how there were some tight corridors and some surprises, and then there was a big open battle arena with tons of enemies. And like I dug this level. I was like, it feels weird to be enjoying Doom again. This is a surprise.
I think the reason why the part where I mistakenly thought I didn't know what to do was extra stressful is because I forgot to play the game until a half hour before we started recording this. So when I couldn't figure out what to do, I was really getting stressed out. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I think the trend is the needle is trending the other way in episode 4. The last level I enjoyed, this level I've enjoyed. Good things. I really liked this room. If you're watching the video, it's kind of this weird 4 stairways conjoining into one with weird little platforms off the side. There was no
big altar up top.
There was no like aggravating bullshit in this level.
Yeah.
Other than the secret you can't get without cheating. But like even like places where you could fall down, like it wasn't like a pit with fire that you couldn't get out of. They like put a teleport pad where you're almost have to try to not hit it when you fall into it on accident. So I felt like I didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff, that I could worry about just playing the level and enjoying the game.
Yeah, very straightforward level. I kind of like the very solid structure of it. We start off in like a wooden building, and then from on one end of that wooden building is, like you were saying, Sam, this interesting room with the stone architecture with these like stairs all converging, and then an altar with a nice Baphomet symbol up on top. And I like this little detail where there's like you can see outside like the hell sky, the orange hell sky. There's all these little pillars going around that you can look between. And the red key is just placed up on this ledge between 2 of the pillars. Like someone just left it there by accident. You just go boop, pick it up. Boop.
Yeah. I didn't go up to it at first because I'm so used to not interacting with anything over a foot. So it was just high enough that you could just go up and grab it. So when I ran into it and picked it up, I was like, oh, okay, that's a nice little surprise.
So, and then like, so that room has kind of a twin, like it's like 2 rooms and there's a locked door between them, but it kind of follows the same pattern. Like the stairs keep descending into the next room, and then the next one lower down is almost identical. It's same structure with like 4 little stairways converging. So it's not really a maze, but it kind of tricks your brain a little bit, like, almost like one of those like infinite staircase optical illusions. Like, wait, which one am I in now? And what leads off of this one and that one. There's lots of Baphomet and Beta Ray Bill heads. And then some of them need keys, but they're not necessarily marked. Like it'll say you need the yellow key, but there's nothing on the door that makes it look, usually there'd be like a yellow border or something, but they didn't have that in this level, which I thought was an interesting choice.
Okay, so I'm watching the video and we just saw, if you're watching the video, you saw the cyber demon up here. There he was. He was right there.
Yep.
Now
let's go back and watch him again in all of his glory.
Yeah.
Get ready, folks.
I'm playing on ultraviolence.
Yep.
And I got this secret and I saw the pillars rise and everything.
But did you go, once you picked up the BFG, did you hump the wall?
Maybe I didn't hump the wall. Maybe that was it.
You gotta hump the wall.
I was very confused before I watched the video, because you come in here, the pillars rise, and you're like, oh shit, something's gonna go down, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the fucking point of this? And there's like a Baphomet on the floor. And it's actually the pillars. It's like, what a, Dr. Sleep A+ gold star, because some other asshole, one of the other assholes who made levels wouldn't have put the pillars, so you'd open up that door, turn around, and just get full of rockets. And but yeah, did not think to get it, and then it leads, that door leads to the secret that you can't get unless you clip. It's just, they didn't think about the, I don't know, like the square that's the activation for this secret was too far in, and like you can't actually touch the secret. It's like a wall, a door flips up and there's an invincibility there, but it's supposed to be a secret, but it doesn't activate unless you clip through the wall.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that there's actually 2 invincibility spheres, because you open the shutter behind the BFG and you get the invincibility sphere. And then there's another shutter inside that secret that you raise. But that one, like you said, you can't walk into. It's up on a ledge. So you can pick it up, but you can't actually activate the secret by walking on the ledge.
Which really confused me, because I went in there, I had the invincibility, killed the cyber demon. As Big Mac Davis says, the easiest cyber demon in all of Doom.
Yeah.
Because you have invincibility and you can just spam the BFG right in his crotch.
They literally give you the BFG and invincibility before you face him.
But I was still in invincibility and I was humping around for secrets, because I didn't realize that I just clicked weird or something on this gate later on. And I opened it and picked it up, the invincibility, so fast that I didn't even see it. And I was already invincible. So I was like really confused about this like door that opens and there's literally nothing there and I can't interact with it. It was very confusing. No secret, because the secret's broken on it. It was very odd room in general. And one of the more weirder rooms, I think, in a Doom level.
It is kind of strange, kind of unique. It's like, it's just there just to be there for, and the other thing
that's fun.
It's like the cyber demon's only there on ultraviolence, which is the hard difficulty. Why would they put it there only on ultraviolence, but then make it so easy? Like you really can't miss the BFG or the invincibility.
Yeah, you literally can't not pick up there's no way you can not pick up the BFG and open up and summon the cyber demon.
Yeah.
Like it's in the way. You can't get around it.
You can't miss it. Well, either way, I like it. I think it's cool. I wanted to ask you guys, what did you think of the big open area? So after you leave the big building with the wood and the altars we've been talking about, there's this big open courtyard. So what did you guys think of that?
It was rad. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. I loved the initial waltzing in there and having it was like a buffet of enemies to just fucking obliterate and destroy one after another. And you could do it however you wanted. You could get the BFG out and kill a bunch of them at once. You could take them one at a time. And it was a blast. It was awesome. I loved it.
Did either of you guys do any sniping from some of the windows overlooking the courtyard?
I did with the BFG. I only did a couple of shots, because the BFG works in such a weird way. Like I was shooting it. I shot one out just to see what would happen, and it killed like one guy.
Yeah.
And then I shot one and hit the pillar in the middle, and it killed like 3 guys. So I was just it was really weird. And I was like, I'm probably wasting my ammo. And then I just went down there and shot one out there, and it killed almost everybody.
Well, yeah, and that because as we've talked about, the projectile of the BFG, the green orb, doesn't actually do that much damage, and when it hits, it like shoots more like splash damage out from its impact radius. But the real damage is those 40 invisible tracers that emanate from Doom Guy, whichever direction he's facing when he activates the BFG. So really, you want to be close range with the BFG.
Yeah, maximize your impact. Yeah, but I love the idea of sniping with the BFG.
Yeah,
like that's hilarious.
And it is kind of a dumb way to design the weapon. Like it's cool, but they don't tell you that's how it works. So you might have it and be thinking like, oh fuck, I'm going to snipe with the BFG, and then it's doing less damage than the rocket launcher. So you'd be kind of confused, like, why is this the best weapon in the game?
Yeah. Now I know that they didn't keep it that way for subsequent games.
Yeah.
Like it definitely doesn't work that way in like Doom 2016 or Eternal. Yeah. Did they keep it that way for like, do you know if they kept it that way for like Doom 2? And I assume they changed it for Doom 3 since it's so radically different from 1 and 2.
I'm not sure about Doom 2. I would venture to say it's probably the same, but maybe not. I mean, a lot carried over from Doom 1 to 2, like in terms of the engine and the physics and stuff. Basically the same engine with just like some tweaks here and there. But I don't know. Maybe they did like tweak it a little bit. But I would bet it's probably mostly the same. But I'm just talking out of my ass, so who knows, folks?
It makes sense. It makes sense to me, and that's all that matters.
All right, let's see. I think there was. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about what do you think of the Baron of Hell content on this stage? There are a fair few barons that we have to face here. Did you find them difficult, or at this point, are we just like, ho hum, yawn, another Baron of Hell?
A Baron of Hell is basically an imp with more HP that you can't get close to at this point. The two that there's the one near the end that you can just, it's right up in your face, but you can just BFG it. And the other two are so far away that it's just, you just have to rocket them and they're not even a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't like after after the first level of episode 4, any Baron of Hell that's not like in a teeny tiny hallway with me, I'm just like, I'll just kill this fuck you, die.
Yeah. You can just shotgun him, just like a, what do they call it? A bad manners kill in a fighting game. Just use like your weakest weapon.
Just embarrass him. Just be real rude. Yeah.
No, I agree. It's like the Barons of Hell is like in an old beat 'em up when like in Double Dragon when you fight a Bobo at the end of level 1, and then by level 4, just every enemy is a Bobo. It's just not even like a challenge anymore. Or like in Dark Souls when all those Taurus demons and Capra demons start showing up towards the end of the game. Sam knows what I'm talking about, right, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm still like befuddled at how this game front loaded the enemies and like didn't roll them out in a more like staggered way. Because you saw like all of them in episode 1, except for like the cyber demon and the spider brain guy. Yeah. You saw them all in episode 1. There were no new enemies in 2, 3, 0, or 4 at all. And that just blows my mind. Like it's disappointing.
Maybe the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild got some inspiration from Doom.
Is that a thing or what?
Oh yeah, that's a big critique of Breath of the Wild, is it doesn't have enough enemy variety.
I mean that's a fair critique, I would say. Like that's
yeah,
I
would agree. I mean, it doesn't like bother me. Like some people are like pissed about it, but it's just like, okay, well, yeah, that's how it is.
Still enjoy, like, yeah, that is frustrating because I mean, like, you got all the enemies that are just the goblins and all that, the little gobbledygook guys, but then even like when you get
goblins,
the boko cock with the buttons, and then even the bosses for the individual levels, the divine beasts, are very like. Maybe they don't behave similarly. They behave very differently, but aesthetically they are very similar. They're basically carbon copies of one another. That is kind of lame. I agree with them. That is kind of lame, but still a super fun game. That's not the point of it. The point of it isn't the enemy.
# not my Zelda.
Well, maybe they'll fix some of that in Breath of the Wild too, but we're going to talk more about Zelda a little bit later when we get into the Nintendo Direct from this week. Jumping back to this stage, what did you guys think of the difficulty of it? I was thinking about it like in terms of where it comes in, where it falls in the sequence. It's the second to last level of the original Doom. So you would kind of expect like a pretty extreme difficulty at this point. But in terms of like where it falls in Doom as a whole, and especially where it falls in episode 7, where the difficulty has been really uneven, I was curious to hear like what you guys thought of like the difficulty of this stage.
I think that it's definitely easier than pretty much every other level, I think, except maybe that one. I can't remember which one it was, but it was definitely
that
easier.
One. That one.
That one, the one that was like a walk in the park. I don't think it wasn't John Romero's episode. It was the one before that, I think. Or M5. But I thought that this was pretty easy, but like it still had its challenges. I still died a couple times from like I think that imp wall got me.
Yeah, the very first one.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I got stuck in the closing. The crusher caught me.
That got me too.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh. I was just going real fast, and we had one forever, and it was just like I probably could have gotten out of it, but I was like, I'm not going to waste that much health. I'm just going to reload.
Yeah. Just do that quick save. Yeah. But it was challenging enough. It was challenging enough that it was fun, I think. And that's the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I feel like it's a good stage. It feels challenging. There's a few things like the crushers that'll get you, or like when you pick up the blue key and all those imps teleport in. So it's like there's some challenge there. It's not like balls to the wall hard, not like the John Romero levels from episode 4. Really, like I feel like those should have been like the final levels because of how hard they are.
I agree.
And then the first map, the American McGee one, is hard, but for more bullshit reasons. It's just like artificially hard because you don't have any weapons or ammo or health, and there's just tons and tons of enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you're expected to just run past everything and just go straight for the exit. But that's not how you want to play Doom. This isn't Resident Evil. You want to fucking blow away every enemy in your path in Doom. But no, I found it in one of the easier levels in episode 4. I would say like there's definitely some challenges and there's parts where you could get killed, but it's very manageable. And so it does feel like maybe a little like maybe this should have come a little bit earlier in the sequence. Maybe this should have been like the 3rd or the 4th level. But because of how uneven episode 4 is in terms of difficulty as a whole, it's hard to really like, I don't know, put it in place, but it's definitely easier, I would say, than some of the stages in episode 3, the Inferno, but maybe harder than others. So I guess it's like a middling stage, I would say, in terms of difficulty. Not bad. Like it's a solid challenge. Just seems strange coming so close to the very, very end of Doom.
Yeah,
agreed.
All right. Well, I think that's probably about all we have to say about this stage. Fairly straightforward, like we said, not too huge, not too mazy or anything. Just a good, solid Doom stage. So thank you to Kevin D. Anderson, aka Dr. Sleep.
Yes, thank you
John,
for making me not hate all of episode 4.
His name's John Anderson. I think Kevin D. Anderson is like a sci-fi writer or something.
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, how can you design a Doom level if you have no mouth? All right. Well, John Anderson, aka Dr. Sleep, was a Doom level designer. Not much is known about this guy. He's kind of a man of mystery. There's a few supposed photos of him, but he worked on Doom. He was like active in the fan community. He made some of the first big WADs before like there were like level editor tools. He like did it the old fashioned way. And so he apparently he impressed Romero and Carmack. They brought him over to id and had him work on the episode 4 as well as the master levels for Doom 2. So he did like a lot of the expansion style work for it. So that was pretty cool. He also did some work on a game called Blood from Q Studios, Unreal. He worked on, apparently he did a bunch of work on Unreal. And of course, his magnum opus, Daikatana.
Oh boy. Another Daikatana veteran, huh?
A survivor of Daikatana, a victim. No, apparently that was his last credit in the industry. I haven't seen anything about him. He apparently dropped off the face of the earth in the mid 2000s, never to be seen since. and sadly passed away in 2018. So this is our first RIP to one of the game developers of Doom. All the others are still alive as far as I know. So rest in peace. Salute to Dr. Sleep.
That I'm a little sad. That's sad because like again, this is the only one I've thoroughly enjoyed in episode 4.
You're saying you'd rather American McGee or Sean Green be dead?
Yeah, definitely, 100% for sure. Yeah,
or Tim Willits.
It should have been them.
The wrong kid died. The wrong Doom developer died. John Romero cut him in half with a machete.
Oh God.
All right. Well, so that's him. Not much to say about him really, because not much is known, but a talented level designer. Gone too soon. I think he was maybe 60 when he died. So yeah, a real tragedy. And I'm not sure what he was doing, if he was still working in games or what. But I hope that wherever he was happy.
Me too. Thank you for the nice level, Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, it makes me think of did you guys see Dr. Sleep, the movie that came out a couple years ago?
I did.
No.
Did you see it, Sam?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I liked it. It was pretty fun.
Yeah,
it was a little weird. It was some pretty brutal stuff in it. But yeah, it was cool. It had some nice nods to both the movie and the book.
Yeah. I went into it thinking I would not like it, just because like I was like, why are they making a sequel to The Shining? I knew it was based on the Stephen King book, but the movie is just so perfect that I didn't want them to do a sequel to it. Because like the only other sequel to a Stanley Kubrick movie I can think of is 2010, which is not bad. It's just like,
it
seems kind of unnecessary.
It felt like they handled it well, because it was really a sequel to the book, but the aesthetics of it were from the movie.
That was going to be my question. If it was the movie and book.
The ending is a direct reference to the ending of the book. To things that did not happen in the movie at all. Yeah. That you don't need to know, but if you do know, it's kind of like, oh fuck, okay, cool. And the only reason I know it, because I've never read the book, is because I've seen the 90s TV movie, which was more faithful to the book. That has the real ending.
Because Stephen King always hated The Shining, and he was like, "This is the real The Shining." No one watched it.
But the reason I watched it is the director, whose name eludes me now that I'm thinking about it. I really like him. He's the guy who did The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh,
God, what's his name? Flanagan?
I couldn't
Michael
watch
Flanagan?
that show.
Dude, it's good. It's
episode 2. All I'm going to say is like the cat stuff in episode 2. I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm done. I don't need to see the rest of the show.
He's a horror director. I don't want to say up and coming anymore. But very like if you're sick and tired of like Paranormal Activity and shit like that, then see his stuff, because he does real, like, it's not just jump scares. It's like really well done, good horror movie making. I'll look up his name real quick.
Yeah.
It's bothering me that I can't remember it.
Well, and Aaron, Dr. Sleep kind of like tries to merge the book and the movie. So it takes elements of both and like kind of weaves it together into this interesting pastiche.
Mike Flanagan, that was it.
Mike Flanagan, cool.
Yeah.
Because in the book, the Overlook like explodes and burns down, but it's obviously still standing at the end of the film. Yeah. So they had to like reconcile that somehow. It's like, it gets to a point where like, because there's like a part where like, so it's about like Danny from the movie grows up and then he's having all these problems. And there's like this rogue gang of psychics that he's got to confront. And at one point, he and his buddy confront them. And they just start blowing them all away. They just shoot them one by one and kill them. It's fucking tight.
Yeah.
But then you get to the big climax, and like the boss of all the baddies shows up, and she's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get you, Danny, aka Dr. Sleep." And he's like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?" And I was like, "Why didn't you bring a shotgun? Like it worked so well before. You just fucking shot all those guys."
It sounds like I need to see this movie. I actually was interested in it just because, Ewan McGregor, he's a good actor. He does good stuff. Generally doesn't sign on to crap. Yeah. But like, Stephen King movies have a bit of a reputation. It's sort of turning around lately with it and Dr. Sleep. But like for a long time, it was like, oh, it's a Stephen King movie. That means it's shit.
Wait, are you saying that the classic movie Dreamcatcher is shit?
Yes, Dreamcatcher is shit. Secret Window is shit.
I think there was a period.
There was a period.
Because there's a lot of older stuff is pretty good, and
Pet Cemetery.
Yes. And like The Mist is controversial, but if you look at how it was supposed to be, like the original cut, it was a lot better.
Yeah.
Carrie is great.
Mike Flanagan, just don't worry about Stephen King, but Mike Flanagan, because really, it's to a point where if his name's on it, I'm going to go see it. That's how good of a director he is. Like when they made The Haunting of Hill House, he was just going to do like the first episode and executive produce it like every director does. But like he started to work on it. He was like, I can't. And he directed every single episode. So it's basically like a 10-hour movie that he did.
Good for him.
And there's aspects of it that are a bit rough. Like they ran out of some money, budget near the end. But you can tell that like it's so much better of a series because he stayed with it. And not just the scary stuff. Like the show itself is really good, I think. It's just a good show in general. But I would recommend Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, I recommend it to both Aaron and the listeners. Check out that flick. But fellas, I wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about some big gaming news. This week, Nintendo finally broke their silence. They've been pretty hush-hush about what they've been working on, as they usually are. But it seemed like especially pronounced during the pandemic. All their directs last year, at least in the second half of the year, were all just like mini partner directs. They didn't announce many of like their own brand new games, other than like the surprise, like Paper Mario and the Origami King announcement, and then like Zelda Hyrule Warriors, I guess, was a big one, and then the Mario stuff, but that was mostly ports. So it was cool to finally see like, okay, new Switch games from Nintendo. What do we got here? What do we got?
We've been waiting for 2 years for Project Triangle Strategy.
God damn it.
Which is a horrible name, but boy, am I excited for that one.
So what's the story with that? It looks like it's
the same team that
Octopath.
it's the Octopath Traveler team doing Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
But with like like a game, but kind of like the Three Houses a little bit, but you've got like there's three. They're not like houses or anything, but it's like moral choices, and there's breaks where you make a choice and it alters the game and who will join your party. So it's kind of like a mix of like a BioWare game and Three Houses, where like depending on what you pick, you get access to different characters, but it's based on your moral choices in the war and everything.
And if you give enough flowers to Bernadetta, then you can recruit her to join your house.
And it's got one small feature that makes me super excited, and it's a Final Fantasy Tactics game where you can walk around and talk to people. Like that, it's a small thing, but boy, just to break up the pace, it's going to be nice. But I mean, it's just, if you've ever played a strategy, it literally, watch the trailer. It looks just like Final Fantasy Tactics, which is a plus in my book.
We're also desperate just to walk around and talk to people. We're so.
But no, that's a general tactics game thing. Usually, they're like super hardcore about the combat, and the story is just given to you. But like having the option to move around a little bit, and like your choices and like dialogue choices and stuff just gives a little more like life to the other half of those games. But here's the downside. I fucking hate this, and it happens all the time. It's not just a Nintendo thing. It's like, here's a new game and a demo, but the game won't come out for a year. So I was like, well, I don't want to. I mean, they did this, I think, with Octopath Traveler, where they're like, play the game, give us feedback, and we will implement that feedback.
Yeah, it was a long time too between that first demo and the game coming out.
Yeah, so I hate that. I hate it. So I'm not going to play the demo because I don't want to even know anything about it and get excited about it. But
I never did play that Octopath Traveler, and like I know people say it's good. I just like couldn't get into it.
It's good, but it's like RPG blue balls because you've got all these characters. It's like the Saga games, right? Like cool looking game, but the story's fucked because it's like, here's 8 characters whose stories never intersect.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, okay, I guess.
Well, and
cool.
Another thing is like, I like that they did the 8-bit graphics or 16-bit or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That 3D, graphics.
But I hate that they have like all that bloom in every scene. There's like the sun is shining really bright. It looks like they smeared fucking Vaseline around the edges of the screen.
It's definitely bad when there's water. Like the early levels, there's a lot of water everywhere, and it's really bad. It's not so bad in some of the other characters' starting zones. Like there's one girl who's like in an ice place, but it's pretty rough. It looks like they melded out a bit in the Project Triangle strategy. I hate saying that. That's just a placeholder, but they said that for Octopath Traveler, and they kept it. So we'll see.
The dumbest title ever they kept.
Yeah, but I'm excited about that. We'll continue to talk. But there was one other thing that I was actually super excited about.
Was it Mario Golf Super Rush?
No, I'm not I'm not excited for Super Mario Golf RPG.
Yeah. But Mario looked so dapper in his golf outfit.
He did look pretty dapper.
It's cool. I was never huge into the Mario Golf games.
Me neither.
There's some stuff like I always liked. Like there's some. It's just too much like golf, and I don't like golf. like Strikers was cool. I didn't really care for soccer, but it was like crazy goofy Mario. Like the mode they showed for Mario Golf where everyone's like rushing at the same time. It's like a race. That looked like fun.
Yeah,
but
that did look cool.
It's a skip. It's a hard skip for me. Maybe if it's got online play and some other people I know, like people get it. Maybe, but But nah.
Not of interest to me, certainly. But I know people like my good friend William is like super into those Mario Golf games and really enjoys them. And so like, you know, they have their fans. Like they're apparently very competently made games.
People have been wanting this for a long time. So this was the big get for the Direct. This was the one that everyone was waiting for. Even if it's not for me.
Huh.
Yeah. Mario Golf is great rabid fan base.
Really?
The Nintendo people. Oh yeah, it's weird. Yes, that is the right response, I think. But
and especially the RPG segment of it. I know. But the Game Boy Color Mario Golf game had like RPG mechanics, and that's like a cult favorite. People like you go on a forum and you mention it, and people just like start going off. People are obsessive about that. You know, this game no one's ever heard of. So I think for people in the community, when they saw those RPG mechanics, they ruined their pants just on the spot.
It's just, you know, I'm getting a little bit of RPG burnout. Everything's a goddamn RPG now. You know, I think you can even fucking NBA 2K whatever has level up stats and stuff. It makes it really hard to look for RPGs on Steam. I'll just say that everything's tagged with the fucking RPG.
Yeah, it's a mechanic to keep people engaged or keep people playing. You know, like I gotta level up my team.
As a person who likes RPGs, it's like, I want to. You know what? I'm gonna go play Mario Golf. I just want to break from like Witcher 3 or something. It's like, son of a bitch. I have to min max Mario now.
Yeah.
I just want to play fucking golf.
Do I put skill points into his putting ability, his short game, or do I want to put it into his long game?
I got to a certain age where I no longer am capable of just doing it. I like have to make sure I'm doing it right and efficiently. So it's a whole goddamn thing usually when I play an RPG. I try really. I was like, no, this time I'm just gonna play it and enjoy it. I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was like the gold edition, which is like $180 for $25. And I'm trying real hard, but I found out that there's like decisions that can totally change the game. So I was like, fuck. I looked one up and it was like the difference between like you know, some part of the starting island gets the plague, and you go there and there's like a family with like little kids and everything, and there's like guards and a priest. Like, we got to kill them. We burn the town down. We're gonna kill them because we can't stop this plague. And you have to choose between saving them or letting them die. And I looked it up. If you fucking don't let them die, if you don't like let the guys kill them, you come back and like everybody in the entire island has died. Like, and it's it's where you're from. It's like your home. Like everyone's fucking dead because of the plague.
Can I just say, and I know I've gone off about this a bunch of times. I fucking hate story choice mechanics in games. I just want come up with a good story and tell me that story. I don't need any of these artificial bullshit choices like, oh, you decided to be kind of roguish. It's like you still fight the same final bad guy. You still save the universe. You're just kind of a dick about it.
But that when it's done, I think it can be done very lazily, and I agree. But sometimes, like this was this wasn't like a small town. This was like I spent 5 hours on this island doing quests and stuff. There's a lot of people there, and it's like no, they're all gone. Like there's 2 people left if you come back if you don't like kill these people. So that's like if you don't do those quests, it's like gone. And it sounds like the Project Triangle strategy. God, I feel like a jackass every time I say it.
Damn you, Square, for making us say that name.
Will be interesting. So I've got another friend who hates that kind of mechanic just because he doesn't want to have to play a game multiple times to see everything. He really hates that.
Yeah.
So he's
and a lot of games.
A BioShock fan.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, you're fine.
But a lot of games that have that mechanic, like I feel like the branches become weaker because they only have so many resources. So they got to split their team up to work on both branches, or 3 branches, in the case of like Fire Emblem 3 Houses, or 4 branches actually in that game. And then like once you get to like the second half where it all splits up, you can definitely see some weakenings. You can see the cracks and the fraying around the edges.
Well, I just experienced this like literally today a little bit, like not that specifically, but like a decision in a game that, and I'm just gonna light spoilers for Gears of War 5. I just finished Gears of War 5, the main campaign today, and towards the end, you have to pick to save one character or another character, and then the other one, you save one of them, and the other one gets fucking killed, just dead. And so I picked one, and like both of these are characters that you've been with, you've fought with, and everything, and so like, but that there was no consequence for the game story, like the game at all, as far as I know. I haven't looked up what happens if you save the other one because I literally just finished it. But like you go through and like the characters like react, but then it's just back to business as usual. Like and they act like they would anyways. And so like I'm just like, was there any purpose to that except for like fucking up these characters a little bit in a different way? Like, oh, this person died and everybody's like, upset, or this other person died and everybody's upset.
Like, you choose one of 2, but no matter what, that cutscene got made where you're sad, and it's going to happen. It doesn't matter which one died. Yeah. There's like lazy ways to do it for sure, where there's no real outcome or meaningful gameplay that becomes of that you could then go back and do it the other way and get a complete new experience. That's hard, and some people do it, but I think it's like it's like RPG mechanics. Like it became a not a catchphrase, but like a fancy thing to put on the back of your box, like branching dialogue options, like where it really doesn't fucking matter. Nope. Where it's
for me, like the interactivity where like I engage with the story of a game is more like in the choices that I make, like moment to moment, like how I decide to face the enemies or move around the world, or like if I decide to continue playing. Like some games the story gets like kind of brutal and bleak, and it's like, ooh, I don't know, like my character seems like kind of a dick. Do I even want to keep going here? So like I get more like out of that level of interactivity from it, rather than like the beat you over the head with it. Are you gonna side with the kingdom or with the empire? Make your choice. It's gonna affect everything from now on.
I kind of prefer the BioWare way. Was it BioWare? Like Mass Effect and like Old Republic, where you have to make those choices, but it's less about the story and more about your character progression, like and skills and stuff like that, and like the way you like dialogue options. So it's like more how you want to like mold your character personally, and not necessarily how like the overarching story works.
Then in Mass Effect, there are dire consequences for some of the other characters.
Yes,
depending on the choices you make.
Yeah.
My favorite part is in 2, where like you say you like, or is it 1? Well, I think it's 1 where you like they disconnect between cause and effect with your choices. Or like there's the famous one where you say it's like disagree, and like your guy pulls a gun out and blows his brains out instead of saying anything. It's so I agree with you, Andy. Like I enjoy it when it's done right, but most of the time it's not. Like most of the time it's lazy people just trying to, like, even Final Fantasy 14 did it recently. It's harmless, but it's like you're like going through the story mode and the story of it, and like it'll like have one or two options to say, but it really doesn't matter because they respond the same way no matter what, or they'll say one extra line of dialogue and then it never happened. It's like that. Well, we don't really need that in the game.
Yeah.
It's not hurting anything, but it's like it's just kind of like, a feature that's pointless.
Yeah. Well, and I like you said, it's possible to do it right, like in an effective way. And I hopefully Project Triangle Strategy will strike that balance. It seems kind of promising so far. But I wanted to ask you, Aaron, we've kind of talked about some of the games we're interested in. Was there anything from the Direct that tickled your fancy?
I can't say that there was. Like, really, like, maybe Skyward Sword, but that like frustrates me quite a bit.
Let's talk about that. How did you feel when AG Aonuma came out and was like, "Hi everyone, I bet since you're seeing me, you're expecting to hear about Breath of the Wild 2. Well, too bad."
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck that.
but what if we gave you instead the worst Zelda game?
Yeah, I've never played Skyward Sword, which is why it sort of was like, okay, it could be cool to play that, but also it's frustrating in that no Breath of the Wild 2 news because it's fucking Zelda's 35th or something and like nothing. And B, I've heard that Skyward Sword just isn't the best Zelda.
It's stinky. I'm gonna say it. It's a bit. It's a little bit stinky.
And I'm not gonna buy it. That's for sure. I might get it from the library or something, but I'm not gonna pay $60 for
that's outrageous
10-15-year-old game now at this point.
Yeah,
like my favorite meme is a picture of like the packet, like the special edition for when it first came out was like $69.99. It came with the game and like a special controller and a soundtrack, and then it was like the new game, which was $69.99 or $59.99 plus the new controller, which was $69.99. So I've never played it, and the thing that kind of put me off was the motion controls, which after having VR I'm less persnickety about, but like I thought it was cool that they did like the joystick slashes. That looks cool, but I don't want to pay $60 for it.
I agree with that. The button controls definitely intrigue me because the motion controls are a problem in the original. I don't know if you guys ever watched Matthew Matos's YouTube channel. He does like really in-depth game reviews, but he has ones on all the mainline 3D Zelda games. And on Skyward Sword, he says like the motion controls are like fairly good. Like maybe let's say for the sake of argument that the input does what you want it to do 95% of the time. But if that was a button that you pressed on the controller and it only worked 95% of the time, it would be completely unacceptable.
Yes.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. If they fine-tuned it so that it works perfectly 100% of the time and like even like followed you maybe to some extent, like what movements you did, Link did, like, millimeter per millimeter, that could be a draw. That could be pretty cool. Like it's as close as Nintendo's gotten to VR now at this point, if that were the case. But I don't expect that to be the case. I expect it to be exactly like it was because it's Nintendo.
The button controls are interesting though, but the game itself has a lot of problems with like design and structure. There's a lot of just nothing. Like it feels like budget or time issues. They couldn't put in as much as they wanted to. So the game is really segmented and very linear. Like you have like the overworld, which is the sky that you fly around in. There's fucking nothing. There's like a few islands in the sky, but mostly it's just big empty wasteland where you just fly to like the next like warp point. And then there's like 3 areas like down on the surface that are totally discrete. They don't connect to each other in any way. And you go to 1, you do a dungeon, 2, you do a dungeon, 3, you do a dungeon. And then you just repeat that sequence and you just keep cycling between the 3 areas, like doing dungeons and other bullshit fetch quests.
I remember watching. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, until finally you finish the game, and that's it.
I remember watching you play it in the Ganon mechanic in the game where it's like the giant monster in the pit.
Yeah, the
imprisoned. Really annoying.
Yeah, you fight that guy 4 times. It's so frustrating.
He's like a giant monster, and he's like slowly walking out of this hole, and you have to stop him from getting out. But it's just this big, long
toes.
Yeah, frustrating, boring auto scroller.
Oh, it was just like it's on. Yeah, are you on like a spiral ramp going up and up and up?
Yeah.
I think I saw you play that too, Andy. a little bit. I didn't watch the whole thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Andy? What was your favorite thing?
Well, I'll tell you.
Titties and Smash.
Titties and Smash, dude. Honestly, the thing that probably got me the most excited was it's cool. I mean, this is old, but it's cool that the Outer Wilds is coming to Switch. I'm kind of interested in that. And then I feel like there was another like smaller game that I thought was kind of interesting because like they did kind of like a scatter shot of like a bunch of like smaller things that like you know not quite indie but like just like not like huge releases either like I don't know, they said they've got like those Saga remastered games. I'm not that interested in that. The Ninja Gaiden collection, I guess. I was like, oh, okay, I like Ninja Gaiden. They had some about No More Heroes 3. You know, I guess like I like that first game. I'm not like dying to get it, but it sounds cool. Legend of Mana remake. I mean, that game is supposed to be pretty stinky, but it's you know, I don't know. It's a Mana game. It can't be that bad. What else? Oh, they announced that one World's End Club game. That looked kind of stinky to me, but who knows? I could be wrong.
So nothing. Andy was
not really. Yeah.
I'm in this. I think I'm in the same boat. Nintendo's just not doing it for me at this point in time, which is too bad. Because I like Nintendo games generally, but like nothing here. None of they didn't announce any surprises. You know, nothing terribly exciting. No F-Zero or fucking
yeah, you know, and recently too, within the same week was BlizzCon Line just happened this weekend, and there was like not much going on with that either. There was a couple of big things. Diablo 2 remaster I'm excited about because I've never played Diablo 2, so I will be playing that finally. But really, yeah, it was they didn't even their big keynote, like here's the, you know, we talk about all the big things in our first presentation. They only mentioned Overwatch in the last 5 minutes, saying you can go here to learn about some Overwatch stuff. So that was a huge disappointment.
It's a dead game. No one plays it. It's
like,
dead.
Like it's, you know, the pandemic and it's like the last year. So the development time for the past year has been slowed, which is, you know, makes it understandable.
We're getting hit
but
by
if you don't got any games for us, then like give us something, Nintendo. Like,
yeah. Well, I did want to briefly talk about the new Smash character, Pyra and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm just so sick of all this anime bullshit. In this Smash Brothers
Dude, I when I saw that announcement, I had flashbacks to watching the final season of Lost with all you guys after not watching any other seasons of Lost. Like I could hear all the nerds in the world just going, and like one nerd going like, yeah.
I saw some people online who were like really excited about it. They're big Xenoblade fans, you know, or whatever. But like, yeah, no, like, Sephiroth was cool, Steve was cool, but like,
it's just
you couldn't pull Crash Bandicoot. You couldn't pull him. Crash. You couldn't pull Crash. You couldn't pull like fucking Spyro. I would have been thrilled if it was Gex, and I hate Gex, but like I would have been thrilled if give me. I don't know, like another anime sword.
I was watching.
There's tits. That's cool, but like, come on.
Right. Well, it's the most stereotypical anime character too. Just like, oh, pretty girl with a high pitched voice and big tits. Oh, but she's also got a big sword and she can fight.
No. Two pretty girls with high pitched voices and big tits and swords.
I kind of Sam off. What were you going to say, Sam?
Oh no, I was watching a streamer and I missed that, and they were watching stuff about it, and I didn't know it was for Smash, and I was like, oh, I guess there's a new DLC or something for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and it showed it as a Smash, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like, why? I just don't understand. Like, I get that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like a big deal. It sold a lot. But like, it just seems really weird. It just seems like you got a Xenoblade character, right? That's good enough. You got one of them. Seems weird that I mean, it's an anime lady. Maybe it's a Japanese decision more than worldwide, but it seems like there are quite a bit more options than Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
They really should have thrown a curveball our way, and had it be that that anime princess from Sonic 06. Like, if
Like
you're
her
gonna do an
ultimate
anime
smash is to
anime
drop-
babe, then just like make it weird,
Her-
make it real weird.
If we got to have a sexy babe in it, stick with Nintendo. Go back to what's probably the greatest game of all time, Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet. Bring in Crystal, sexy foxy blue cat lady.
Hell
or
yeah,
fox
get
lady.
those furries something real going. Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been Conquer.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised it hasn't been Conquer. Yeah. No, I'm not surprised it hasn't been Conquer. That would be really funny. They get that sunflower in there
with the giant breasts that you.
Yeah, make it an alternate skin for Piranha Plant or something.
There was one last game that I wanted to mention real quick. Very small game, but kind of caught my eye. Neon White from Annapurna Interactive. It's like a first-person shooter where you're like fighting demons in heaven. Looked kind of interesting to me, like interesting graphics and like aesthetic. And Annapurna, kind of puts out a lot of like more like artsy kind of indie games. So I'm kind of curious about that one. Not like frothing at the mouth, or anything. But I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks cool.
It's the deck builder first person shooter. It's a card deck builder. Yeah.
The card mechanic looked interesting.
You lost me there. Like I was like, a first person shooter on Nintendo fighting demons in heaven. Okay, I'm intrigued. And then you said deck builder. And I was just like, oh, it's gone now.
You killed his erection.
It's dead. It's
never coming back. No amount of Cialis can rescue this situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo, I'm really glad they got the Xbox Game Pass recently.
Oh shit! No, the other thing was Splatoon 3. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I don't really care about Splatoon, but I guess a lot of people love it. So for those who are into it,
it's Splatoons are good games. They're good games. They're fun little shooty run around games where you're with a really unique take on an apocalypse.
I don't know. Is it just me? Like, isn't Splatoon the kind of game where they could just have content updates? And why are they why do we have 3 Splatoon games and not just content updates? Because it's like, what is really changing other than weapons and levels and shit that they need a new game? I don't know. I would love to know. Because it seems like, well, no, you can still, it's the fighting game thing. Do you know how much fucking money you have to spend on a fighting game? You buy like $60 game and then season passes that are all like $25 to $30, and there's like 5 of them. Man. Like, yeah.
Well, I haven't looked into it. Does Splatoon have that already? Does Splatoon 2 already have 3 expansions that everybody paid $20 for? Like maybe they did it and now they're on to the next one because
it's just weird. Why not just do it like Fortnite? And like they've changed their game so many times. It just seems weird. It just seems like an odd thing. I don't know enough about it. Yeah, and it was like just seems like an odd thing.
Well, I think Nintendo's probably holding back like their money shot for the E3 window. Like when and if there is an E3 this year, but I think like in that window they're probably going to give like some big drops like that are going to look more towards holiday 2021. This was more just like an amuse-bouche like leading up to that. At least that's my interpretation and my fervent hope, because if this is all we get, it's going to be a shitty year.
Yep.
Well, just so you know, Splatoon 2 had at least one expansion, the Octo expansion. So they did at least one.
Because like Overwatch for it has added multiple heroes and maps and modes. They just come out. They're not even. You don't have to pay for those, but you could. They could call like get the new Soldier 6, whatever pack, and it's like comes with him and five skins and V-Bucks, and I don't know, it just seems weird. Like it was any kind of like a shooter game, a competitive shooter game, having like that many like did the first Splatoon come out on the Wii U?
Yes.
Or is it on Switch? Okay. That's a little bit more reasonable because for whatever I thought it was all Switch in my head. And it's like that was really driving me insane. But yeah, it just seems weird.
I think it's a captive audience thing too. Like that definitely feeds into it because on PC gamers have all the options in the world, and these people want to keep them on their servers and playing their game always instead of migrating somewhere else. But Nintendo's like, yeah, you're playing our system. This is all you get. this is what you get. Buy it. That's what you get.
Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for Nintendo Direct, at least this time around. And a little bit of Diablo Direct too, or whatever. What is BlizzCon?
It was BlizzCon line.
Yeah.
So they did it all online this year.
That's cute. BlizzCon line.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Pretty cringy, really. The whole thing was.
Hey, shut up! It's cute. I love them. They're adorable.
That's as maybe, but that's all the gaming news we've got. That's all the gaming news that's fit to print this week. But I did want to talk about another. It's not gaming, but it's certainly in our wheelhouse. The trailer recently released for Amazon's animated adaptation of the Invincible comic book. And I only know about Invincible because my good friend Aaron was a huge fan and loaned me his graphic novel editions of it.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron, how you feeling about this? Are you excited?
I didn't know there was a trailer out until you mentioned it to me. So I went in.
Oh, go ahead.
I went and watched it, and the tone of the trailer feels a bit different from the tone of the comics in general. Like the comics are really good. They're really interesting. They have this like it's really weird. They have this kind of light tone with some very dark shit that happens in the comic. So like it felt like that was off in the trailer, and hopefully it's just in the trailer, because the trailer, it seemed like the main character Invincible is like getting bullied and stuff at school, which doesn't happen in the comics. That's and it feels like it's pretty melancholy and dark with a couple bad jokes that didn't really land in the trailer. So like I hope that the action is good, because it felt like the animation wasn't great also.
Yeah.
Did you watch the newest trailer?
I don't know. I think it
was Battle Beast in the trailer you watched?
Yes, Battle Beast was.
That was the newest trailer.
It seemed like the action in the trailer, the action looked like it was better than the general animation.
And that is actually I don't know if you watch anime. It's a general. They cut corners on the talkie and all the frames go into the punchy.
Yeah,
they do, and there's lots of just holding steady on one of those water bamboo tube things in a garden that goes clack. Which is why I love Netflix's new feature where if you watch on a tablet, you can speed it up by 1.25 or 1.5 when you're trying to get through. Dude, when there's an anime that's got 1 million episodes in it, I could never go back. That 1.5 is too good.
I saw the first trailer and it just got a little bit of stuff. And I think, we also have to remember as fans, Aaron, it takes it a little bit in the comic to kind of get onto its own 2 feet. Like the early issues are a little, hokey, I would say, before the certain reveal happens, of course. But then once he's kind of out of I would say the teen group, that first group, when he's not really doing as much with them anymore, I think it really starts to figure out the balance of the normal superhero Superman comic, but with oh fuck repercussions.
Yeah.
But we'll wait and see, because the trailers were kind of all over the place. But for me as a fan, I was just going Muller twins, Battle Beast. I was just looking at everyone naming them off.
Yep.
They retconned his ex-girlfriend. Did you catch that? They changed. She is a black lady now, which I thought was I was like, okay, cool, I guess. Interesting that they picked a very tertiary side character for something like that.
Huh.
I guess it is a very white comic now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, big time. Yeah. You're either an alien or a white person. And but there's a lot of cool little things. I was like, oh man, okay. Even if the animation's not great, I hope it's popular enough that they can get through get far enough into it, because you got to get over the. I don't call it hump because I like all of it, but really, it's kind of like when the cover artist took over as the main artist. That's when a lot of the actually that's too far in actually. There was a couple artist changes, I think, in that comic, but really, I'm just super excited. I'm glad that they're not shying away from the violence. specifically like in not even in the content of the trailer, but in the title cards for who's in it, like that slowly starts getting bloodier and bloodier and bloodier. You know, it's like, okay, this is a hint to people who don't know anything about Invincible.
Yeah, dude, that part where he just like flies through like 5 people and they just explode into blood and gore.
So I'll be curious to see how they handle some of the things later on. But I'm just super pumped because it's like one of my favorite comics ever. And I've been saying for years, like, yeah, you guys like Walking Dead TV show, but what if just wait for an Invincible one? It'll be so much cooler.
Yes, I totally agree. I guess I'm guardedly optimistic. Like Aaron, I also thought the animation looked kind of crummy. It's like that kind of cheap animation where you can tell it's mostly computers and they're just kind of like moving and manipulating the drawings with a computer to have the illusion of movement.
Here's what I think is going on. Amazon is like, we'll make a first season, but we're not going to spend a lot of money on it. If it blows up, we'll start spending some money on it. So if it does really well, I wouldn't be surprised if season 2 had a bump in quality.
Yeah, that's probably true. I agree with that.
I'm just excited to hear Seth Rogen as Alan the Alien.
Yeah, dude, everyone they've gotten is like spot on for like the characters.
J.K. Simmons' Omni-Man is really good.
Yeah.
I heard him. I was like, well, of course it's fucking J.K. Simmons. Of course it is.
he's flying around like, Invincible is a menace. I need you to get me photos of Invincible.
Bring me Invincible.
Even if we only get one season, it's exciting to see adaptation that looks to be like very close to the source material. By doing it as a cartoon, there's not so many limitations, you know, like The Boys, like I straight up, just the one thing that bothers me the most is how unintimidating Butcher is physically.
Because like changed his character a lot.
A terrifying monster of a man in the comic.
He's
and it makes like the way he like delivers a lot of the same lines is a completely different feeling than in the comic. And it's fine. It's like, you know, Preacher as well. I love the comic a lot. The show is nothing like the comic, but it's got its own little special place. But it looks like Invincible is like, it's like, I'm looking at it going like, it's fucking Invincible. Like I said, it's like, I was like clapping when I saw the Mahler twins. And I was like, I definitely shouted Battle Beast when that scene is like, blah, and blood everywhere.
Yeah, like when he smashes him with that mace and all the blood shoots out. That was
Andy,
pretty cool.
You follow like, what's his name, Billy West?
Yeah,
right. Like you're a big fan of Billy West and everything. How do you feel about all like he's probably raging right now, right? Like he's just sitting at home, like blood shooting out of his nose, just pissed off at the computer, like for the TV, because all of these big names are being cast. You got Zachary Quinto in there, you got J.K. Simmons, you got Seth Rogen, others.
Well, you know, JK's done a lot of voice work. And
he has.
He's got a little bit of range. And there's other guys like Clancy Brown in there who've done they've done a lot of on-screen work, but they've also done a lot of voice work and they have interesting voices. So like, I don't know, it's kind of a mixed bag, but you're right. Like they're casting like Seth Rogen, who's probably just going to do his regular voice, you know.
That's all he does. And that's, you know, that is what it is. And I like his voice. Again, interesting voice. So, you know.
Yeah. You know, so, you know, I like Billy West, always like to see professional voice actors getting cast. And I mean like good voice actors, not like the dime store ones that like the anime dubbing companies hire, you know, it's like when Funimation fired all the good voice actors from the Ocean Group and hired their own in-house guys, and Dragon Ball Z took like a marked dip in quality after that.
It's just, I think partially, you know, more people are watching animated stuff, so it's a bigger draw, you know, so like, it's just a sign of the time, you know, it's like, you know, like that's why it's so hard to watch good anime now, because there's so much crap out there because everybody watches anime. And the worst part is everyone gives their own favorite anime 5 stars. So don't bother using Crunchyroll's rating system, because the worst garbage dumpster fire abortion clinic dumpster fucking, I'm pissed. Yeah, I have some.
Hold on. Is it worse than the YouPorn rating system?
Yeah, because it's like literally no matter what the anime is, it's a 5-star rating.
Yeah, and all the top-rated animes are all like, my horny stepmother seduced me.
Yeah, oops, I fucked my mom.
Oh no, my stepsister.
my diary as a slime that fucked my sister.
No, stepsister. It's got to be stepsister.
Yeah,
but
you really got to search for the good stuff.
Yeah, a wink.
But I am very, very happy and excited for Invincible, the cartoon, because basically, even with like, I was thinking about it, like the animation doesn't look like, it's not blowing me away, but it feels like we're getting like the true what it should be, like a Saturday morning cartoon, because that's like kind of the idea of Invincible, was like taking that classic superhero like tropes, but just like, what would happen if like, you could punch through a human body and you were a teenager, and like, what's the, like that kind of idea, so like it feeling like a little, like the same quality as like, Batman, the animated series, or, Justice League, like, because I still think it's not horrible. Like they can be way worse.
Sure.
But it's not like a Korra or like Castlevania or something like that.
Right.
So I think it adds to the charm that the part of that specific charm of Invincible.
Yeah.
And I hope it's good.
That human element to it, like it's not like, well, I guess Korra has a human element, and so does Castlevania, but it's different. It's not like a realistic human element.
Like the things that it's playing with structurally fit into that kind of Saturday morning superhero cartoon.
Yes.
So like the fact, like it's that kind of level of I'm happy with it being what it is.
I think I'm going to read the comic again, because I actually never finished it. I stopped somewhere around like it's done. Yeah, like it's concluded.
Yeah, I haven't. I actually also haven't finished it. I'm pretty far into it, but life has been so busy that I've fallen off of all comics. I used to read the comics weekly. Wednesdays, new comics come out. Yay! But not for a long time now. Unfortunately, I do need to finish it. And I don't mean to. I wasn't trying to shit on it or anything. Like I'm excited for it too. I think it looks cool.
Oh yeah,
I am going to have to go out of my way to figure out how to watch it, because we canceled our Amazon Prime account because Amazon's evil, and we just did. So
you got him. You stuck it to him.
I really stuck it to him. It's a moral victory.
I think I could just picture when you unsubscribe, Jeff Bezos like stumbled into a door frame with his arm up and just grasped his chest for a second.
I feel my powers weakening.
The last hair of his head floated down to the floorboards.
Got his ass. Well, so anyway, we'll be looking forward to that. I forget when they said it's coming out, but I
March 26th, 22nd.
There you go. So coming out fairly soon. So look forward to that, folks. But I think with that, we're going to wrap up this exciting episode of One Stage at a Time. What do you say, fellas? Leave it there for this week.
We did it, guys. Good. We did it.
All right. Well, next week we'll be back with the final episode of the original Doom, E4M8. So please look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. After that, we're going to do a kind of a wrap up, like post-mortem. We'll talk about superlatives, our favorite stages, least favorite, all that good stuff. I think Aaron's going to twist our arms into doing another movie episode on Doom Annihilation.
Oh, you bet your ass, buddy. It's coming, and we're doing it.
And very soon we'll be announcing our next game. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It's Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet. You've all been clamoring for it, and that's what it's going to be.
Yep, we're going to simp for Crystal for 30 episodes. It's going to be great.
It's going to be GTA San Andreas, but only the hot coffee mod.
There you go. That's what the people want. No, but we will make a serious announcement very soon. But I think we'll leave it there for today. Sam, what words of wisdom will you offer our listeners?
If you can, get vaccinated, people. It's the right thing to do. Don't be afraid. It's not. I am fully vaccinated now. It's not scary. Just go do it. Get vaccinated. If you want to and you can't, I'm sorry that your state sucks and is mishandling your situation.
Welcome to my world.
To be fair, is most of them. So
yes. Luckily, I work in Kansas and they handled it right. Where I live isn't really handling it very well.
Yay, Missouri!
Yeah, Missouri's fucking the dog, but
they are.
But hopefully we'll get it soon. And I agree with Sam. If you don't get the vaccine, then fuck you.
Thirded. It's one stage at a time. It's official stance. Get the fucking vaccine, assholes.
It's our platform, our party platform. All right, Aaron, what do you want to say to the fine folks at home?
I want to say thank you, everybody, for listening. Please go to onestageatatime.com for more of our episodes and links to all of our things. Please come back next week. And Andy. No, me. I'm going to do it. Everybody, save and continue.